New hat, new brew. Today is batch number 38. It's going to be called Glowing Pumpkin. Of course, it's going to be made with a lot of pumpkin. Some of the ingredients we're going to be using here, we're going to be showing, we're going to be using the Seth Brew BE256 yeast. We're going to go with 2 ounces of Mount Hood pellet hops. First time we're using Mount Hood. Of course, 1 pound of my homemade candy sugar we're going to use. Acid blend is for adjusting the pH in the water, which we're going to get a pH. We're brewing in a bag today, a different type of brewing. Irish moss, of course, for defining agents. We're going to have cinnamon, a couple cinnamon sticks in there, a little pumpkin pie spice, some whole cloves. We all know what those are. You would think cloves, you don't want to use those, but no. Some of those are going to go in, not more than that. And some allspice. Little allspice. Believe it or not, a little bit of vanilla. So we're going to get to the grains. The grains are going to be 2-row malt, 2 pounds. On the 6th row, we're going to use 2 pounds. I'm going to write that down now. Let's see. The flaked wheat is going to be 1 pound. We're going to do a protein rest on this. And the pumpkin, we haven't decided how much we're going to put in there yet. We'll show you the deal on that. It's that's a full dish of pumpkin. Oh my gosh, is that heavy. Here's the pumpkin that we got going yesterday. I baked that in the oven for 90 minutes and I scraped it off. You'll see that. It's looking really good. Let that warm up a little bit out here because my refrigerator tends to freeze things. Our measuring spoons, and we're going to go off to get the grains ground and get this into the kettle. Get the grains in here and get this going. Gotta add 2 gallons, 2 quarts of water here. Strip, starting our strike water, which is going to be like I said, brewing in a bag. We're checking our pH, and according to this strip right now, you can tell we're at 7, so we want to get lower than that. Oh boy, I'm dripping. So here's where we're going to add the acid blend. Not much, a little bit at a time. I start with a quarter teaspoon. It doesn't take much to change the pH level of this water. This might be a little bit too much, so I'll stop right there and I'll check it again. Of course, I gotta stir it. You always want to stir it. Give it a good stir. We're gonna try it where we want water at 155. For a total mash today. Of course, the gauge ain't going to behave. We'll fix this gauge in a minute. We get another strip here. Let's see what our water level's at now. We want to be about a 5. And that didn't change much. We're at 6. Between 5 and 6, I'm going to call that perfect. 5.8 we're looking for. Is that what I wrote in my notes here someplace? 5.8. And that's between 6 and 5. So boy, good measurement. Quarter of a teaspoon. Quarter of a teaspoon. Doing a protein rest here on white wheat, flaked wheat. I'm going to keep it at 90 degrees to 100 for 15 minutes or so. Then I'm going to add the pumpkin to it. Then we're going to take it up to suffocation. I can't even say it. Which is going to be about 155, and we're going to hold it there for an hour. So we got about 13 more minutes to go at this stage. Let's see. Never picks up the gauge here. We're 102 maybe, right in that range, which is good. I'm using 2 different gauges. I like to, well, actually 3 different gauges. When I try a protein rest, I want to try to get it as accurate as possible. This is at 103. That's at 102, 103. And then I use the candy thermometer to top it off. Nothing like redundancy, I guess. Of course, this doesn't even like to read that low. It's coming up here. About 100. Right about 90 is, you know, where I'm trying to stay, about 90. And we'll kick her up. It's been 20 minutes. I'm going to add the pumpkin. This is 3 pounds of the pumpkin, the jack-o'-lantern that we cut up from the porch here. I'm going to add that right to our mash bag here. 3 pounds. Of course, that's going to drop our temperature. So I turned it up a little bit. This is ice cold. That's definitely going to drop the temperature, so we're going to have to readjust that. Coming up. I want to stir this in. I figured 3 gallons, a pound a gallon. And I might add a little to the end here. We're going to be coming up to it 155 pretty soon here. I'm going to start to get that going. Come on, gauge. Stay still there, buddy. Not my favorite gauge, that's for sure. Well, we'll redo that gauge. And now we're going to get the temperature up to the brew saccharification, if I said that right again. Oh. Take this up hotter. Make sure I don't burn the bag off the side of the kettle. Alright. Step 2. The pumpkin's in. We're coming up to the 158 degrees. And we're going to let her sit for another 45 minutes. 45 minutes to an hour. Oh, this gauge is really something. I don't know if we're at the bottom of the kettle here. I'm going to stir this so we don't burn the grains or the bag. Pull the grain bag, steeping bag, out of the wort, and we're just letting it sit in the strainer up here, draining, deciding whether we're going to sparge it or not. We'll let it sit here for 10-15 minutes while the kettle warms up down below. Let's see how she looks on the volume. Yep, we're at boil. We added 4 whole cloves, 4 cinnamon sticks, 1/4 teaspoon of allspice, 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla, and a heavy 1/4 teaspoon of pumpkin spice. Now we're ready to add the hops because we came to a boil. Remember, this is a 3-gallon batch, so I'm going to try to go half a pack here, which would be 1 ounce. I'm going to froth, but I got such a little bit that's chance of it coming over on me are slim. Well, we gave it 1.5 ounces in the beginning and saved a 1/2 ounce in there. I can tell by looking at it, it's about a 1/2 ounce. That's okay. So there we go. We might add a little bit more pumpkin. This is 1055 pre-boil, which was a little shocking to me. And we're going to dilute it with 1 gallon of cold water at the end when it hits the carboy. I'm doing ice bath on this instead of a wort chiller. Nothing wrong with that. Oh, this smells absolutely delicious. So yeah, I got to do it, set a timer for 1 hour or 45 minutes, and we'll do the next hop addition. Back with the pumpkin brew, adding the homemade candy sugar. It's going to take the hydrometer off the scale, I'm sure. That's some good stuff, though, I'll tell you what. I'm making some more of that first chance I get. Let it come out. There it goes. So there it goes. Last 15 minutes of the boil. I decided to add another 1/2 pound of pumpkin. Boil it down, and I let it drip in this kettle here, just for a little bit more flavor. No, we don't want to do that. We'll add that in a few minutes, but we're down to the last 15 minutes, so we're going to add the hops. Of course, the sound they got. That's just too loud, way too loud. So I'll say we added more pumpkin. Last 15 minutes. And go to the last of the hops. Half an ounce. Now we gotta get the Irish moss in there. Coming up. It's only a 3-gallon batch, so I don't need a full cap. It's debatable, but good enough. I suppose this beer's gonna take a little bit longer to clear anyway. So there we go. This is the last of the pumpkin. Brew in a bag. Of course, there's the bag. Dump the rest of that juice in there. We don't want to waste that. And we're off. 15 minutes, we'll be chilling. We put it in a ice bath here. Uncovered. We're gonna let it get down to about 120. Then I got some ice water to dump into the carboy. We're gonna ferment in a 3-gallon carboy today. So yeah, this is the pumpkin. It's gonna. Oh, it smells delicious in here. I mean, it really, 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 really does. So as this gauge drops a little bit in this ice bath, it can only go so far because the water will warm up. It's starting to warm up now. Give it a couple little spins here. I'm going to dump the cold water I got in the fridge into the mash tun, or I mean into the carboy. This was boiled yesterday and chilled, and this will help take this to the temperature of pitch in the yeast. And I think we're just about ready for that. 120, yeah, that should take her down. Okay, we'll get back to you once I get this water. Of course, I don't have to film this, it's just crazy. It's nothing more than taking the jug, dumping it into the carboy, ice cold water. Of course, for those that don't know, if you spin the jug, the water comes out faster. And a little vortex in there. Okay. That still water's in. Now we need 2 hands to get the siphon. 10:45 is pretty good. So 10:45 after the gallon of water added,